Hi everyone, NG here, and today we are going to be looking at Vlookup in Excel, or you can call it vertical lookup. It's a powerful Excel function that allows you to look up data from one column and return data from another column that is located in the same row. Vertical lookup works by taking at least two arguments from the table or data range of cells. The first argument is the value you're trying to find, and the second argument is the value that you want to return. Vertical lookup is valuable because it is speedy and it's convenient. Now let's jump right into the video. If you're looking at the screen, you will see we have a table that has about 5 columns: registration number, name, sex, tag, and level. And we would like to look up values using registration number. Look up the names and the levels of the individuals using the registration number. And one thing about vertical lookups is you have to look up from left to right. So it works actually from left to right. So you would take the value in the first column by the left to look up the other columns, to the right. Okay, so let us create the lookup function to look up names right now. Okay, to start with, we'll select the cell under name and then type the equal sign and go to VL. Will bring up the Vlookup function. Double click, and then where do we want, what is our lookup value? We want to look up with registration number, and this is where we'll put the registration number to look up in this table below. So B3 is our lookup value. Our lookup value is going to be in B3. So put B3 there, or you just click on B3 and select it, comma, you put your comma. And where do we want, what is the table array that we're going to look up from? So the table array is the table that you're seeing underneath. So I would prefer to use the table name. Usually, instead of just saying, okay, coming to select the whole of this table, I'll just type the table name. If you click on that, the table name is table 1. So I just type table 1, and then I'll put my comma. Now in table 1, which column do I want to return? We have column 1 for registration number, column 2, name, sex is column 3, tag is column 4, level is column 5. So I want to return the name of this individual with the registration number. So, and the column that contains the name is column 2, as seen in this table. So I'm going to type 2. So I'm telling Excel, in table 1, please return the corresponding value in column 2 for whatever registration number I've typed in B3. Okay, so I'm also going to put a comma. Again, Excel is asking me, if you are seeing my screen very well, it's asking me, do I want approximate match or exact match? I want exact match. So because I want exact match, I'll put 0 and then close the bracket. Put enter. So you're seeing this error message here, NA not available. Is a default error message that Excel gives when the value is not applicable. So, and that is because registration number is blank. So let's go ahead and type one registration number and see what happens. So I'll type the first registration number, RD 72345-23. Enter. So you see, it returns the corresponding value in the name column. When I type the registration number in the registration number column, it returns the corresponding value in the name column. Same way, we create under level, we put the Vlookup function there. Vlookup function. So what value are we using for our lookup? Is a value that is in B3. So B3, I will put a comma, and the table array we're going to be looking at is table 1. I always name my tables. So table 1 in this workbook, comma, and now we look at the column number that we want to return. Like I told you, the VLOOKUP looks up from left to right. So now from left to right, we'll count the number of columns to where we want to, get our return value. So the first one is the first column is column 1, and the name column is column 2, the sales column is column 3, and then the tag column is column 4, and the level is column 5, and we want to return values from the level, the column 5. So we're going to put 5 here, and then also we put comma, and then we add type 0 to make sure that it returns exact value for us. Okay, then enter. So if you look at it now, you also see the level 5 for Louis Samuel has been returned. Okay, randomly, let's copy any random value here and use it to change this. See? So this is where we copied from. Yes, that's where we copied from. And if you look at it, it returned Lucy Mandy and level 13. It returned the value for us. And this is particularly useful if you have very large data and you want to be able to retrieve data easily and quickly. And the VLOOKUP function can be a very, very useful tool to do that. All right. Okay, so let's say we type something that is not even in the list at all. For instance, if I change that to 0 and click on enter. Okay, so our error message is showing now, telling us that Excel cannot find, or the VLOOKUP function cannot find corresponding values against this number we have typed in our workbook or in our table. So, but for me, I understand this, that this is an error message. Then for somebody that is not very conversant with the Excel or with the Excel function, would not be able to understand it. So for us to make it simpler for people to understand that are not as vast as we are in Excel, we can add an error function that returns a value that is easier to understand when we can't find what we are looking for. So we can modify our lookup function by adding the IfError function in front. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we can add IfError. Okay, so we are telling Excel, if you can't find this value and there is an error, instead of giving us this n/a by default, we want something that is easier to understand for novices that will be using this workbook. So we'll go to behind and add our error message. So if the VLOOKUP failed to look up what we have typed in registration number, it couldn't find that value or corresponding values. What do? What does Excel do? We want Excel to return this message to us so that we can understand that this number is not in the list. Okay, so we want so we'll put our opening parenthesis or quote sign and then type not in the list and close the bracket. So instead of NA, you have not in the list, which is very easy for anybody to understand that the number he has typed here is not in the list or is not in the table that we are looking at. Okay, so the same thing, we'll also modify this and add the IfError in front. So with our opening quotation mark, not in the list, and then the closing quotation mark, and then we'll close the bracket. So now if I type anything that is not in the list, it tells me outrightly that this value is not in the list, so we don't have a match for it. Okay, so this is one of the ways you can use VLOOKUP to really retrieve your data, and also in conjunction with IfError function to make it easy for you to understand errors or when what you're looking for is not found in the list. Okay, right now I'm also going to show you how you can use the VLOOKUP function to make your work very easy. You can use it to easily enter data, create the VLOOKUP function to enter data instead of manually entering the data all the time. You can easily use it to call up data and fill in automatically for your data capture. Okay, so if you're looking at this screen again, we have at the far left corner, we have a list of products or items that the cost price have been defined and the selling price have been defined. And then on the right, we have another table that we're going to be using to record the sales. And let's say this is our, the table on the right is our sales record. So you are update it after every sale. You need to update it, or every day you need to update it. So you can work faster and make your work easier by creating the lookup function and to look up whatsoever item you select or you want to enter the sales for. It will look up the price, the cost price automatically, and then your data is already there and you can work faster. For instance, we have created a drop down here to enter these cells. So if you want to know how this drop down was created, I have another video that explains it in very simple terms, so you can look up that video and learn how to create drop down in Excel. Okay, so we want to be able to choose any item here, and automatically the cost price is looked up and the selling price, we have it automatically entered in this order table. So to do that, we're also going to create our formula. We're typing the equality sign and then VL for Vlookup, double click, and where are we looking up? This time around we are looking up at this item sold. So you click on that place, item sold, and then you type a comma, and then from this table here, you can either select the table or you just type the table name. It's already the table name is already fixed there, table 3. And what column in table 3 do we want to return? Under cost price is column 2. If you count the columns from the left, the cost price is column 2. So we're going to type column 2, and then we also type 0 to make sure that exact match is returned, and then enter. Okay. So now we have 21. It has returned 21 for green tea, which is what it is in this table 3. If you look at table 3, green tea cost price is 21. Okay, so let's also get the selling price. Look up the selling price. VL for Vlookup, type it and double click. Also, we are going to be looking up item sold, comma, and also we're going to be looking at from table 3. Just go ahead and type table 3 and type your comma. So this time around we're going to be looking up the selling price is the third column in table 3. So we're going to type 3 and type our comma and then type 0 and close our bracket. Okay, so we'll drag the formula down. Drag the formula down. Now we still have the default n/a that Excel adds for errors. So, but that is not our concern now. So let us just go ahead and add our cells. So we add the cells and then go to date sold. You can use the date picker so that you can work faster. If you want to know how to use the date picker, I also have a video that explains that. So look for that video and learn how to use the date picker so that you can work faster instead of typing the date all the time. So I'm going to just click on just to add the dates from the date picker, and then units sold. Units sold. Of course, I already added the formulas to calculate the total amount that was sold and total cost and then the profit. Okay, so the purpose of this lesson is to show you how you can use the VLOOKUP to work faster. So again, I'll get the date picker and then type my. So this way you can work very, very fast without having to type everything all the time. You can work very fast without having to type everything all the time. So using this, you can see that the work is simplified and it's easier and it's faster. So this is one of the ways you can use VLOOKUP to make your work or data entry very fast. So you have defined data that you want to be reusing all the time. All you need to do is to create a VLOOKUP for it, so that each time you type in the lookup value, it will retrieve the corresponding values you want to retrieve. Thank you for watching, and please, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click on the notification button so that each time we drop this kind of videos, you will be notified. Thank you.